It's Tuesday, July 22nd, and as I indicated, I'm slowing down with video production. And two reasons, I guess two main reasons. One is that I have another video project to work on. It's I don't know, I guess a promotional video for the adult day program. And so I'm going to just collect footage over a period of 2 or 3 weeks and then interview a couple of people and just put it together into a package showing our experience, for one thing, our experience with the adult day program, and something that can be shared and used to to let people know that it's out there. And the other reason is that there's not much change with Heather, and I don't know, is it exploitive to keep just showing videos of her sitting in a wheelchair, kind of unresponsive? I don't know, probably not. It's probably okay. But, it seems like more of the same, and I think you guys deserve more newsy stuff or something a little more interesting. So I'm not in any rush to push out videos, and I don't feel a need personally, which was one of the big motivators in making this YouTube channel grow like this, was I needed therapy. So I'm sort of holding my own. I guess I get a little sadder every day, and I don't feel that enthusiasm to share what's going on here currently. So all that to say is that I'll continue putting out videos, but there's might be a little lag. And speaking of videos, I am off to see Heather. I saw her this afternoon for lunch, and I brought some peanut butter, and I brought a Honey Crisp apple, and I brought some orange juice and some meringues. I'll show a video of that stuff. I recorded something this morning. I'll show that. And so I am off on my my e-bike, and I'm going to go have supper with her and then play music with my friends tonight. Got my relic shirt on. It's 10 minutes before lunchtime, and we found a nice shady spot to sit in front of the building here. And I brought Heather's favorite treat. Hey Heather, when you would go grocery shopping, back when you did grocery shopping, you would often pick up some meringues. So somebody's having a nice pre-lunch snack. I also brought an apple and some peanut butter, so not all sugar. So I also brought a little Tupperware of peanut butter, and she's just eating this by the spoonful, small spoonfuls. Center and a pool and a home hardware building. This is our little village. Hey guys, so I'm out at the cottage again, and there were a few days there where I was sort of on my own going to visit Heather, and I was caught up in it. You know how I don't know if you aware that I get that way. Sometimes I get a little over enthusiastic about helping her, and so I was going twice a day. And it's okay, but it's tiring. So, anyways, um, Hetty's stepping in today and probably tomorrow, and I thought I would run out to the cottage here because I need to do some work on our pump. The pump needs replacement of a pressure gauge and the pressure switch as well. And I bought a new kind of pressure switch that has a low pressure cutoff. The reason being, a while ago, somebody came out here and the pump was running. It had run dry, and I don't want that. So I got this new pressure switch, and it has a low pressure cutoff. So if the pump runs dry, it will cut the power. It will cut power to the pump. And what else do I have? I have, so here's the pressure gauge, good quality one, oil-filled pressure gauge. Oh yeah, and I've got a new foot valve to install. So, okay, let's go have a little look around here. So this is the beautiful fire pit that, Heather and I used to sit around here, and I'd play guitar, we'd watch bats overhead, and enjoy the sunsets. I haven't put the float in this year yet. I don't know if I'll bother. And so out there is my water line going into the lake. Needs to be a little deeper. So, and to look around our lake here, it's not a big lake. It's not huge, but it is about as remote as you can get in Nova Scotia. And there's nothing. The entire opposite shore, there's nothing. There's not a building. There's nothing at all. Nothing. And the lake is a little rocky, so you can't have speedboats here. There's never a motorboat. Once in a blue moon, I might see a kayak or a canoe. We hear loons and coyotes and owls, and they're starting to see some deer down here as well. And there might be 20 or so cottages on this lake, and most of them are empty most of the time. People come out here once in a while. Some of the cottages they're multi-generation things. So of course, the original owners spent time here, and then their kids might spend some time here, but people have lives in the city. So it's silent out here almost always. Barely ever hear a sound. Quite remarkable. And I've got quite a bit of land here too. I've got 4 acres on the lake, and it's all like this. It's all just woods and bushes and, wilderness stuff. Let's have a look at the outside of the place. So here it is. It's not a real traditional structure because the gable end is sort of the front that looks out over the lake. And, it was Heather's idea. She insisted on this structure, and I, of course, went along with it. And it's posed some challenges over the years, but nothing I can't overcome. So I sound like I'm blaming Heather, which I just don't do. That's not my style. So, but it's a beautiful spot. We've picked away at it over the years. And let's walk through the woods here. This is where we go swimming. This is actually the deepest part of the lake, right in front. This area here, there's a hole, and you can see rocks out about halfway. It's not actually halfway across the lake, but it gets rocky there. So there's a hole in here where you can go swimming, and the bottom is fairly decent, like a gravel bottom. And then I bought the lot next door just as a buffer. So this is just sort of excess property. There's my survey marker. A few years ago, someone owned this lot and they were going to develop it. They were planning to build a house here, like a full-time house, and they chickened out. I don't know why. Maybe because they suddenly realized how close they were to us. So it doesn't look like it, but our place is not far through the woods. And also the driveway would have been extremely steep. So they chickened out. And the instant I found out, actually Kate found out that it was for sale, I made an offer on it and I, paid his asking price. And in case you're curious, this is, I think, 1.2 acres on the lake, and the price was 25,000 Canadian. So what is that in US dollar? $20,000 or something, or less? I don't know. But that was worth it to us to have this privacy, and it's a legacy for, the kids and grandkids and whoever else. And I know, like, I would never now go and buy a cottage. Well, I wouldn't be able to. The cost is too high. But when we got this, things were relatively cheap. They were not expensive. Even though we paid 25,000 for that lot, which may seem like a joke to some people. To people I know here in Canada, if you were to buy a cottage in Ontario, so let's say you lived in Toronto or Montreal and you wanted to buy a cottage within 2 hours of the city, of the downtown, well, you'd pay a fortune for it. I mean, if it's even available, they cost a fortune. So here in Nova Scotia, the real estate is still pretty reasonable in that regard. Hi, Penny. Penny, did you find a mouse? Oh, oh. No, this is looking out the front windows here. It's pretty special. And that's what Heather wanted, a cathedral ceiling. So that's 22 feet, roughly. No, a little less, 22 to the peak. But you can imagine it caused some challenges. So all of this wood was harvested here on the property. It was all milled just in back there. I had a portable sawmill down here. And it's inch thick pine and hemlock. And the walls and ceiling are all insulated. So it's pretty cozy. And we got a beautiful old Yotel wood stove that a neighbor and friend upgraded from, and basically gave it to us, sold it pretty cheap. Pretty cheap. And then, a couple of bedrooms too. Pretty cozy, eh? How cozy is that? Heather used to organize all this stuff, and it's since been taken over by Kate. Has sort of taken charge of the organizing and decorating, and God love her. I think that's just fantastic. It's quite a spot to be when there's a big storm outside, like an electrical storm. And this is the kitchen here. It's a bit of a mess because I'm replacing a piece of pipe, but I made this whole kitchen myself, just with plywood, 3/4 inch plywood. But it's very functional. The built-in induction cooktop, and an IKEA sink. Very basic, but it works. And then there's a master bedroom with, I think it's a king size bed. I don't know, maybe it's queen size. And I just finished this bedroom like as Heather was succumbing to dementia. So it was sad in that regard. And then the very basic bathroom with a homemade vanity here. That's just a salad bowl. That's just a salad bowl sink. And a shower using lake water. It's filtered and it goes through a UV system. And that is a sort of composting toilet. Works great. No septic required. And that's a tour of the cottage. I don't know why I'm sharing this with you guys, but no harm in it. And you, you probably enjoy it. And I'm going to do a few projects, and then I'll be back in town on Friday morning to spend time with Heather again. Thanks a lot. When Heather and I were planning this place, the driveway was this horribly steep path through the woods there, and we decided we had to have a driveway up here. So this was her idea, and we had obviously had a lot of trees cut down. There's the new driveway, and it goes down the hill at a much more reasonable slope. So we had a lot of trees cut down, and since the trees, some of them were, big around like that, the pine trees and hemlock trees, I asked the guy to leave the logs here in 6-foot lengths, 16-foot lengths. And then I had a fellow come down with a sawmill, portable sawmill, and cut them into planks. And that's what I used to finish the inside of the cottage and some other projects. But I'll show you what I have left over as far as inventory goes. I've got sort of a garage here, sheltered logic. And so, it doesn't look like much because the roof went off of the shelter this winter. So this all gets exposed to the weather. But underneath that graying, there's some gorgeous lumber. And some of them are 16-foot lengths. And I have some slabs there, 2-inch thick slabs by, what is that, 10 feet or so? And a variety of beams, 2x6, and a lot of 1x8, some 1x10. and a couple of, I think, 6x6s. So there's a lot of lumber in here, and I've got some firewood too. And so besides making projects around the camp here, around the cottage, I will use those slabs. I'll probably use those slabs as a countertop for my camper van. And I'll make up a sled, a router sled, and I'll take a router and I'll flatten them off and make them nice and clean and sand them and put all kinds of Danish oil or something like that, some kind of nice finish on it. And, you know, use parts of this property in this camp in my van to take it with me. And I think it's an elegant solution. So good fun. So I'm home again. I got stuff unpacked. I even managed to wash some of the mud and dust off the car. I'm still wearing the same shirt. Don't worry, I'm going to change it in a few minutes. And I learned a few things being at the cottage for a couple of days. As I knew, and as everybody knew, it would become easier with time visiting there. So it's still lonely, and it still has vestiges of Heather, and her aura and her essence is there, without getting too corny. But it's you know, it was relaxing, and I think the big benefit was that I lost this feeling of urgency and almost mild panic that I had to be on duty with Heather. And every time I stay away for a day or 2 days, it gets a little easier in that regard. And you know what, though? It's good for me, but I kind of hate it because it makes me feel less relevant. And my identity for decades has been as a husband, and to be Heather's husband, and to be her partner and her supporter and her protector, I guess, in a way. And I feel that that role is slipping out of my hands. And I mean, I have enough other interests, and I'm engaged in enough other ways that I should be able to easily turn the dial up on those things, and sort of morph my identity into John, doing John stuff, rather than just being, well, I don't want to say just being, rather than identifying more strongly as Heather's husband and being a partner and a good husband, and so on. So I can still be a good father. In December, I'm going to be a good grandfather and Opa, and that will give me a new lease on life as well. So staying away for a couple of days like that it's good for everybody. I know it, and I have all the support in the city to step in and look after Heather. And I just hope that when I go to see her, I'll get a little smile out of her. I don't know. I hope so. And that's another fear, is that every time I'm away, I'll lose her a little more. And I guess it's inevitable as part of the letting go process. And one of these days she'll be gone entirely. So, my God, it's the long goodbye, and it's torturous and painful, but that's it. So thanks for following along, and thanks for being so darn supportive. And Relic thanks you as well. Relic thanks you. We're going to go put Relic in the wash. Carolyn visited Heather today while I was at the cottage, and asked if Heather had a hat. So I brought her favorite hat from the cottage. And the running joke has been throughout life that Heather has a big head, as does her brother Richard, who got his head stuck in a bucket when he was a kid. So that's been a joke between the two of us for years. But I'm bringing her a big, extra large, maybe it's just large size hat, so that she can go out in the sunshine. I just checked the hat size, and it is indeed extra large. So I'll joke a bit with Heather about the head in the bucket thing. Maybe I'll get a laugh out of her. It's a long core memory, so let's see. I'm happy to be back here. Tonight's show is not Breaking Bad, but Trailer Park Boys. Ricky and Julian and Bubbles. And you got a smile on your face. So, pretty good.